Welcome to the movement called Free. I hope you're enjoying your day today. A special welcome to our friends around the globe, both domestically and everywhere on this great planet of ours. In Japan, good morning. It's 8 a.m. in Japan. It's 7 a.m. in Manila. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. How about that? It's 6 p.m. on the East Coast in New York and Connecticut and Florida. It's 3 in the afternoon in LA, and good afternoon, our friends on the West Coast. And it's 5 p.m. right here in beautiful and scenic Houston, Texas, where I'm coming to you live from. This 3 is it's a global movement. And when we were kids, we were taught in school about the sun never sets on the British Empire. And that's because when the sun was going down somewhere in the world, it was shining on some piece of the British Empire, and was coming up in another part of the world, it was shining on another piece of the British Empire. This 3 movement is similar. When the sun's going down somewhere, it's coming up somewhere else, and we're all a part of this wonderful movement. It's a great pleasure tonight to share this platform with our CEO and a couple of amazing leaders that you're going to get to hear from in just a little bit, Samson Li and Lance Smith. But first, a little reflection on the first 7 days of our movement. This was several months in the making. And wow, when it kicked off, I never believed that it would kick off as seamlessly as it did. Oh, we've had our hiccups, and we're going to have more of them. But overall, the fact that 90,000 plus people, last I checked, decided to jump in and be part of this amazing thing that we're creating. That's something I couldn't be more proud of, being a part of something so foundational and something so life-changing. But remember, this is pre-launch, and we'll have a few hiccups. There were a lot of folks that were concerned, by the way, that if they didn't get all the people in their group that they're having trouble finding in their back office and all of that they were going to lose all their points. Well, guess what? The folks at our servant leaders quarters, Daniel, Picou, and others, they've given us until March 5th, a whole nother week. All you have to do is go in and pay your $30 and make sure that you place 100 points, and you'll pick up the volume not only from this coming week, but from the week that just passed. Now, we've been accumulating other questions in the field, and those questions are going to be tallied up and put into an FAQ in the next couple of days. A couple of things that you might be wondering about is, what do I have to do with my e-wallet? Well, by the end of the day, Wednesday, you'll be receiving some directions, an email that will tell you exactly how to set up your e-wallet so that first pay period finds you with a smile instead of with a furrowed brow of confusion. We're going to make sure that everybody has the information that they have as quickly as we can get it to them. This process has allowed me to personally interact with Daniel Picou. Daniel is a man for whom I have great respect. His work ethic is tireless. His team is incredibly tireless. I see poor Marta up there at 1:30 in the morning. She's still answering questions on emails. I see Troy Moore and all the things he's done logistically. And I see all the things that Daniel does. He and I have talked at 11:30 at night, 12 at night, sometimes even later. And we've talked at 5:36 in the morning too. And that's what kind of a tireless hard worker he is. But that's not his greatest trait. His greatest trait is that he leads this company from the heart. He has a servant mentality. And when folks in my world, the legal world, start negotiating contracts and that kind of thing, there's usually a confrontation edge, a place where one person's trying to go and the other's not trying to be there. That wasn't this way. When this company came together, Daniel was like, I've said this phrase before, he was like pushing against an open door. He wanted everything that we all want. And I know I gave you a couple of answers to questions that are kind of in the weeds. And that's not what I'm looking for from Daniel tonight, and that's not what he's going to provide you. Daniel is going to give us all a high level view of what's happened over the last 7 days, the first 6 days of our movement. And he's going to let us know operationally how things have been going, where our challenges are, and just know that at the end of the day, we're locking arms with a guy that really cares, that really wants us to be successful, and is dedicated to his lane and making sure that everything operational comes out eventually correct. And so without further ado, I give to you the one, the only, the legendary, the soon to be famous Daniel Picou, CEO extraordinaire. Take it away, Daniel.
You're too nice, Mike. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for your belief in me. I appreciate it. I've only got a few minutes, guys. I want to jump right into everything. The first thing I want to do is thank everybody. I want to thank you for your belief in what we're doing. I want to thank you for your hard work and your dedication. I want to thank you for the fact that you're believing in this movement. You know, when you back up and look at why did this come together, I'm a big believer in having something bigger than a dream or a why. I'm a big believer that you need to come together as one group. There needs to be a group of people that come together collectively to do something massive, and that is what's happened. You know, I watched the video, the stars, yes, the stars have aligned, but I think it's more than that. I said this a few days ago, it's time to flip this entire industry on its head. And so we're 7 days into this. We had our pre-launch last week. Our pre-launch was amazing, went great. Look, I want to speak blunt to you guys today. I want to talk to you straight from a leader to a group of hundreds of leaders that are on this call tonight. You know, everything rises and falls on leadership, but I think it's bigger than that. I could get on here and talk about vision. That's not what I'm here to talk about. You know, there's 3 things that I'm going to answer tonight that if you're watching this, you're going to want to know. The first one is this: can the corporate team deliver on this platform? If I'm watching this tonight, it's the first question that comes to mind. Can this team deliver? And I want you to know with a resounding underline capital with 3 exclamation points after it, yes, this team can deliver. Guys, I've been working with this amazing corporate team. This isn't something that I've been working with this group for 30 days, 60 days, and they just came together. This is a team that I've been working with for years. This is a team that I trust in. You know, Mike talks about Marta. Look, Marta, I don't know when Marta sleeps. And it's not just Marta, it's our dedicated corporate team. You know, we showed on the pre-launch video last week, the live event, you got to see some of the corporate team, 27 members right here in Salt Lake City. That's only a piece of the team. We're spread out all over the world to support you in your efforts. Troy Moore, look, I brought Troy Moore on from a company that was doing $2.2 billion per year. So when we throw out the $1 billion number and you go, does this guy know what he's doing? He ran 87 contract manufacturers at his previous venture for 6 years. He understands the manufacturing side as well as anybody I've been around in this industry. Troy is capable. Troy just landed, by the way, a few hours, 6 hours back. He landed in Taiwan. Troy this week will be in Taiwan. He'll be in Malaysia. He'll be in Hong Kong. He's an on-the-ground guy. So the first thing you're asking yourself is, can this team deliver? I want you to know yes. I also want you to know I believe in hope. Our industry, we talk so much in the field about you have to have hope. A person can't live 5 minutes without hope. Hope is great. Hope is not a strategy. Okay? Hope is great. We all need hope. Hope is not a strategy. What is coming up with a strategy and executing on that strategy. That's completely different than hope. We all want to be hopeful. Everybody hopefully wants to have a big business. Everybody wants corporate hopefully to have their stuff together. That's not how I live my life. I live my life by doing one thing and one thing only. I had the chance years ago to meet Colin Powell, the legendary general. I met him one time very briefly for 10 minutes. And I was a big fan of Colin Powell. I was a fan of his leadership and how he took responsibility. When things went right, he gave himself a very tiny pat on the back. And when things went wrong, he put it squarely on his shoulders. But Colin Powell had a famous quote. He said, great leaders are almost always great simplifiers. They can cut through an argument, they can cut through a debate, and they can offer doubt to any solution because they come up with something that you can understand of how to solve a problem. Okay? That cuts right to the chase. So the first thing is, can this corporate team deliver? I want you to know yes. Is there going to be a hiccup here? Is there going to be a little challenge or a little kink here and there? Of course. I want everybody on here to look at the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? We're going to build a movement all over the world, and we're only 7 days into this. The next thing you got to be asking yourself, and I think this is so important, is can I trust you to look out for my future? Guys, I'm going to speak openly. This industry has hurt a lot of people. I love this industry. I talked about it the other day. It's helped a lot of people and it's hurt a lot of people. That's not the shoes I want to fill. I want to fill the shoes of helping a lot of people. Not only helping a lot of people, but changing the way people look at our industry. So can you trust me and this corporate team to look out for your future? Again, it's a resounding yes. This team is working around the clock. Guys, I literally am sleeping at the office this week. We're doing everything we need to do from an IT standpoint, from an operational standpoint. We're doing everything that we need to do to make sure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and that you and your teams can put faith in this corporate team. The next question you're going to ask yourself, which I think is so important, is, does this movement truly care about my success? Why would I throw that out there? I'll tell you why I'd throw that out there. Because there's been a lot of fly-by-night companies that come in, they make a big splash, but they're not willing to do the things long-term that they need to do. I'm here to tell you this. We're going to do what we need to do short-term to make sure that any issues that are taking place are worked through. I'd remind everybody, we're in a pre-launch phase. We're 7 days into this. Our branding looks magnificent. Our website looks magnificent. People are loving the III.earth instead of a .com or a .net. By the way, if you're watching this and you're going, why .earth? Because we're going to take this thing out all over the globe. This is a movement that's going to spread out all over the globe. But I want to talk for a minute about servant leadership. I appreciated what Mike said about servant leadership, but I've always tried to live my life through servant leadership. You know, Gandhi says the best way to lose yourself is to find yourself in the service to others. I would take it a step further. I'd say your talk walks and your walk walks, but your walk talks more than your talk talks. I know that sounds confusing to people out there. Let me sum it up for you. I'm not a talker, I'm a walker. There's a big difference. Some people on the corporate side will go in 8 to 5 and they check out. That's not me. I go until the job's done. I go 8 to faint. I actually go about 5 a.m. to faint. I want you to know, and anybody I've previously worked with would tell you this, it can't come from me, it needs to come from them. They know that my walk matches my talk. And my talk doesn't talk a lot because I walk, and walk. So I want you to know who you're betting on from a corporate standpoint. I have a saying that I used to have in my old office years ago that said, if your its and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a lot to snack on. I'm not a big ifs and buts guy. I'm a big figure out how to get it done, figure out how to execute successfully, figure out what the strategy and the plan are, and then push to get it done. I want you to know who you're betting on. I also want you to know the heart behind this. You know, I got pretty emotional a couple of days ago as I got introduced to so many people out there. I want you to know on these broad shoulders sits the hopes and dreams of thousands of people. That's not something I take lightly. That's something I take seriously. This is the most beautiful industry when it's executed with precision and done in an amazing way. I want you to know this team, when you look out on this team here at corporate, we've been here since early this morning, executing, knocking off every single checklist of what needs to be done. I want you to know that our support for our brand ambassadors will be world-class. I want you to know what we're putting together and executing to make sure, by the way, 0 hold times last 4 days for North American support. Hundreds of calls coming in, emails, chats, 0 hold times. That's very important from an operational standpoint. I want you to know the manufacturers, I get a daily update, sometimes 2 and 3 times per day on where we're at. You ready for this? 10 semi-trucks full of film for our 6 products. That's how much product we ordered. So if you're on here and you're a leader and you're going, man, I was in one company and I ordered product and then 3 months later, I still didn't have my product because they just couldn't keep up with how you scale on demand and what the forecasting was for product forecasting. I want you to know that with lead times in our industry right now at 14, 16, 18 weeks, I want you to know what we've pulled off is next to a miracle, but I'm going to take it a step further than that. I'm getting updates daily and sometimes multiple times per day on where our film is at. You go, well, what's film? It's it's the product, it's the boxes. I want you to know where things are at from a manufacturing standpoint so that we can deliver products mid-March and start shipping products all over the world here in 3. Are there going to be questions come up? Sure. Mike brought up a few minutes ago about an email going out with the wallets. Guys, you'll have an email company-wide that'll go out by end of the day, Wednesday, on how to sign up. I guess getting paid is important, right? To everyone, right? You want to make sure you get paid. The back end of that, here's what I want you to know. Is there a little glitch here? Sure. Is there going to be a little glitch there? Sure. Are there multiple IT groups right now put together so that we make sure that we literally knock them out one by one? Yes. That's how we execute. The second thing I think is so important for each of you to know is this. We took on a Herculean task of launching 14 markets all over the world. I sat down with a group 75 days ago, not this core group and not the group that came together and not all our amazing leaders. I'm talking about an outside group of consultants that understand our industry who thought I lost my mind. You're going to launch 14 countries all over the world and ship products there and pay there and do transfer pricing and a commission structure and a genealogy during a pre-launch. Have you lost your mind? If you could pull off 3 or 4 or 5 countries, it'd be a miracle. I said, yeah, we're going to do it. And we're going to do it darn well. And I'm so proud of the last week. I'm so proud of what's happened. I'm so proud of this pre-launch. But I'd remind you that we're in pre-launch. I'd also remind you that there's no sleep for this group. You know, I got to be careful about not burning out my corporate team because they don't stop. 3 a.m. we stopped last night, just so you know. 3:05 a.m. we stopped. I know that sounds crazy. I just want you to know who's behind you when we're out there doing what we're doing. I love each and every one of you. I will say this. I want to share a big vision with you in the near future. But before I do that, you're asking yourself one question: can I buy into the leadership? And that's why I got on here today. I'd leave you with one quote. I'm a big quote person, by the way. I've always loved quotes, but Albert Schweitzer talks about servant leadership. And I love a quote he has, and I want to read it to you. Albert Schweitzer says, "I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those that have sought and found a way to serve." I want you to know our corporate team is at your service. This is about providing a platform, paying a commission check, paying products, and making sure we execute successfully on a daily basis. That's the team you have behind you. I couldn't be more proud of each and every one of you. Again, thank you for your belief. Thank you for your leadership. And I look forward to getting back on in the next week or 2 and sharing with you more of a vision. But in the meantime, we've got a lot of work to do. I need to get back to work. I've said enough. Thank each and every one of you. Mike, I'm going to turn it back to you. Thank you, sir.
There we go. Thanks very much, Daniel, and really appreciate you being on tonight. I have had the pleasure of working with Daniel for the last several months, and all of you guys may not have had that pleasure. But when he talks about servant leadership, he is truly a servant leader, but he's not alone. That corporate team is somebody that we sought, we wanted to be in business with people like Daniel, like Troy Moore, like Marta, like the branding team, like all of the people that came together to pull this off. And the thing that I like about all of those guys is not only did they come together to do this, they recognize that success oftentimes requires you to redirect your efforts. And so you might not, what you thought was coming up, you're going to hit a hurdle, and these guys pivot quickly. I live in Houston, and in the ship channel, we're like a bass boat in the ship channel. We're not one of the big barges. We can turn on a dime, and we can react, and we can make things happen. And that this corporate team does it, and this team of distributors gets the pleasure of doing it too. The next 2 people I want to introduce you to, or next 2 sets of people I want to introduce you to, are folks that I've become familiar with over the years, that I've developed a very warm personal relationship with, and that I have every confidence in the world in all three of these folks. And first, it's Lance and Tracey Smith. I've known Lance and Tracey for many, many years. Our paths crossed first in the legal arena, and then secondly on the distributor trail. And I know I learned a lot in this business through the courtroom rather than the living room. But after a time, I can tell you that I learned way more about this business in the living room. And a lot of those lessons that I learned were taught to me by Lance and Tracey Smith. The two of them happen to be, I think, two of the greatest teachers of the skills necessary to be successful in this business. And they themselves exude that. They have been successful professionals in this business, and they consider this to be their calling, who they are. And for that, I take great pride. The second I want to introduce you to is Samson Li. And Samson has a heart as big as Dallas. I don't know anyone who cares more about people than Samson Li, with the possible exception of Kim Wee and Samson Li. Those two, they are just an amazing pair. And if you're lucky enough to be in business with Samson Li and Kim Wee, you're lucky enough. And so without further ado, I give to you three of my dear friends, Lance and Tracey Smith and Samson Li. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Sure appreciate that. Hey, Samson.
Hey, Lance and Tracey. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to just jump in here real quick. And I wanted to thank Daniel for jumping on here. You know, it is a superhuman effort what these people have been doing the last 7 days. And actually, long before that, to get us to this point, Troy, Marta, programming, customer service, branding, international market, shipping. I mean, all of these things are just, yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me. You know, we've been doing this for 35 years, and we've been blessed to work on the advisory councils of $3 billion companies. And I've dealt with some of the biggest executives in this space that run billion-dollar companies. I'm going to tell you, the confidence we have in this team right here, this is better leadership than I've seen in anything that we've ever worked with before. And we're going to create something amazing. But you can only build something amazing as strong as the foundation is. And we have one heck of a foundation in place. And so thanks to the three corporate team and Daniel and for everything that they're doing. But I wanted to jump in here for just a minute to talk to the leaders, because there's two sides of our business. We have the corporate side, and then we have the field side. And we have a great relationship with three, but even from the beginning, as we plan this out, we realized that I'm not very good at what Daniel does. You know, I've never been on the corporate side. The 3 a.m. thing worries me. But on the other hand, Daniel's never been in the field side. He's never built big organizations and gone and drove depth into binary trees and done a lot of the things that we've done. And so we've got a great relationship working together, and that relationship is going to move forward hand in hand. In the future, we're going to have a system that's going to be driven by the field and work with the corporate. And so it'll be a collaborative effort moving forward. And as we go through pre-launch, our goal was to get to the point where we could launch. And we did that 7 days ago. And now what the corporate needs to do is kind of clean up, a few things on their end and really firm up the foundation. But for all of us, what we're going to do is we're going to build a system. We want to put a system in place that supports all of you, because we want to have a system that will help people from all walks of life, no matter what their experience level is. We want people to be able to be the messenger, not the message, to be able to send the right tools to somebody. I mean, as an example from a corporate side, I had someone ask me about collagen the other day, and I don't know about collagen, but I could send a link from Dr. Dan that explained it exactly the way it needed to be explained. And so I appreciate the corporate for doing that, but we're going to do that on our side. What we're going to do is we're going to put together a system of trainings of how to use your back office, of how to go ahead and get started correctly, how to start your brand new person, how to set goals and dreams. All of those things will come together. One of the things that's amazing about where we're at right now is, even though this is a pre-launch, we have attracted some of the best and brightest in the field. I mean, if this was the sports team, we have the all-star team on the field with us at 3. And we're going to get together and put our minds together, and there's no egos. We're just going to create something amazing and put tools in place and systems in place that are going to help us succeed. And I can't wait for you to see it. I appreciate your patience, but again, we've got all the great people at the table, and this is going to be something that amazing that we're really proud of. Samson, I know that we get to introduce you tonight on the opportunity call, and so part of that system is having a platform where we can show the opportunity and do that from, obviously on an individual level, but we want to do something from the corporate standpoint. And so in a couple hours, we have the first one, and we're excited to have Samson the call in. So what can we expect to see, Samson? in a couple hours.
Well, thanks, Lance and Tracey and Mike. It's very exciting. In what, an hour and a half or so, that we're going to have our first company-wide opportunity call on the Zoom. It's going to be global. There's going to be a lot of people on here. We're going to hear from people actually from down under all the way to North America. It's very exciting. And look, there's a lot of people been asking me and many leaders about PowerPoints. Guess what? Well, I sat down with Kim, pretty much on the Zoom last night, and for a long time, just going over the PowerPoint, make sure everything's ready for you guys. So I would say that you will be seeing the unveiling of a PowerPoint, the story that we're going to tell about the company and the opportunity and the whole movement. And of course, we're going to include people. So it's going to be amazing. We're going to have 3 amazing leaders to come talk about, the background, why they're here, and why they're here. Why do they want to be a part of this global movement that's literally going to smash show records? So, that's my pitch. Look, we're going to do that in hour and a half from now. So make sure look for the link. If you don't have it, I believe the company already sent out the email. So very exciting event coming up. Thank you, Lance. Back to you.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about having you jump on there, Samson, and we'll have those on a regular basis. And just stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on future events. And again, we'll systematize this over the next few months. But I just want to leave you with one quick thing, is that I've been in this industry for 35 years. The first company I joined, it started 6 years before I was born. And I got involved some 20-something years later and was able to have success financially. That's what a legacy company does. And we're building a legacy company here. And so with that, I don't necessarily like to push timing or get in at the right time. I don't like that, because really the opportunity should stand the test of time. That said, there's only one pre-launch. And we're here.
Yeah. So, man, if you were me, or if I were you, I would be on the phone right now, all the way till the moment you click on to hear our opportunity presentation, because it's going to be the first one to kick off your business, and we're so excited about it. Make a lot of calls, you guys. Get out there and invite like crazy. You'll be rewarded for it.
Yep. Let's pack the call tonight, and let's go spend the next few months between now and the pre-launch and the actual official launch. And let's go build something incredible together. We're really proud of all of you. And we'll see you all in an hour and a half. So Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mike. Back to you.
So back office training, product training, customer acquisition training, systematic opportunity calls like the one we're going to have here in just a little bit. That's all coming to you. Mentoring calls, all of that is in line and ready to go. So stay tuned and stay hungry. So have a great night tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the opportunity call in just an hour and a half or so. Thanks again, everybody.